Hello everyone, and thank you for coming back to yet another episode of The Gloving Paradigm. I am your host, Peter, aka LPD Dubuque, and this week should be a fun week because, I was kind of sitting around just doing my own thing, kind of like finding out some topic ideas, and I was on Reddit one day and somebody was asking for some help on, whatever light chip. I think it was the Spectra Evos, I'm not entirely sure, but he was showing like all of his lights were totally fine, but one was like really red and everyone was like, yeah, it looks like a dead battery, so replace the battery. And of course the person who posted the question posted back saying, okay, yeah, that worked, thank you guys so much for helping me out, you guys are amazing, blah 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 blah. That gave me the idea for this episode, which is going to be about gloving facts, which when I say facts I mean frequently asked questions, not facts like facts, actually like frequently asked questions that, a lot of newcomers do ask. And it's funny how, I don't know why I never really thought about doing this episode, but here we are. Yeah, so it was, when I saw this person post that, I was like, oh, you know what, that actually makes like a great topic idea. Now granted, not a whole lot of people gave me a lot of maintenance stuff in terms of like understanding like troubleshooting when it comes to their lights and stuff, to understand like what are the common things people always ask for, which I'm probably gonna have to do my own separate episode on that. However, that is totally fine. I'm okay with doing the research on that, and I always have fun doing some research on that. But to get into this episode, I'm going to cover pretty much what I find be like the top 5 most frequently asked questions I see a lot of the time, especially when it comes to a lot of newcomers, and that's totally fine. If you're a person who just started getting into this craft and you realize how much information there is out there about this craft, and not only that, but just the rabbit hole of information that you have to go through in terms of concepts and chips and batteries and all that stuff, it's you're pretty much learning a new language at this point, and that's totally fine. I am here to help you on that. So the reason why I want to cover this is because, of course, people keep asking them, and a lot of these things should definitely be answered, especially if they're in conversation with people. I know a lot of the times this probably happens so many times in person when, you have somebody who's, brand new to gloving, who's getting into the whole scene. It can get pretty daunting, and I can understand why. And, a lot of people will even tell you that, like, these questions should be like a given, like you should know these before, right off the bat. However, if you're somebody who just came, fresh off the boat into this world of gloving, you don't have the information, and you gotta, people have this tendency of feeling like they're being fended for themselves in order for them to actually get better at this craft. However, you don't have to, because you have me. You have this podcast who is willing to help you out and understand what you need to know about gloving. So let's go right into the 5 questions I find to be like the most asked questions. And I will certainly say that there will be another installment of this. I would say it's probably like volume 1. As more questions I see keep frequently getting asked, I will definitely make more episodes about them. That way I can just cover them right off the bat. That way, we have some kind of compilation of these frequently asked questions that they can be answered very easily and in a concise manner. So to start things off is with the perfect question: where do I start? I've seen this so many times, especially when I actually show somebody gloving and they're like, okay, I want to get into this, where do I start? So first things first is, yes, you're going to need to get your own glove set, but we'll get into that a little bit. The other thing I definitely would recommend as the best way to start is getting into the gloving groups. Now, I know a lot of people are probably going to be sitting out there and be like, do not mention Glover's Lounge. I am mentioning Glover's Lounge because it is the biggest Facebook group that we have of gloving. Does that mean that all the other ones are not valid? That is completely wrong. They're all valid. Do not say that. They're all valid, and they're all very good, and they're all very helpful. I can understand people's a little bit of a frustration when it comes to Glover's Lounge. I totally get it. I've been in Glover's Lounge for a very long time, and I've seen its ups and downs. But we do have 4 major gloving groups that you can definitely join. Of course, Glover's Lounge is the first one that I'm going to recommend since it's the biggest one. Then you have Art of Gloving, which if you haven't seen that one yet, you definitely need to get on there. And of course, we also have the Worldwide Gloving Group. Definitely get onto that one. That one is really, really good. I actually really like talking to a lot of the people there. There are much more conversations happening on that one that I feel are much more constructive and not what a lot of people have their mentalities, especially when it comes to Glover's Lounge. You don't really see that there. And I feel like the moderators and admins of that group are doing a very excellent job. So keep doing what you guys are doing. But of course, there is one more group that I definitely want to mention, and that is Glover's United. I definitely say these 4 groups are pretty much the pinnacle of what we have going on for our community right now. I do want to say that Worldwide Gloving Group does have a Discord chat, and if you are not familiar with Discord, I definitely recommend getting a Discord account and getting on there. It is absolutely free. It is basically like a gamer's chat room type deal where it kind of works as like a third-party chat system for people who play video games. That's where it started. Now it's grown to be a much bigger conglomerate of its own. So I definitely would recommend getting on the Discord chat for Worldwide Gloving Group, because those people are absolutely amazing. They have so much stuff. There's so many channels on there that you can look through. They have stuff for liquid, they have stuff for tech, tutting, all that stuff. It's all there. It's all compiled. They have tutorial sections that you can actually check up. It literally is a very interesting place that I definitely recommend everyone going to. Okay, so the next question that we often see people ask is, how can I learn X concept? Okay, whatever X is the that's the variable. You insert whatever concept people want to learn. There is a lot of information on these different concepts out there. Some are really good and some are very well concise, and then there are some that are not so good. I will certainly say that from my experience being in this craft for 10 years now, I will certainly say from where we started is, where we are right now is way better than where we started. Okay. Like for me, who started out in 2010, the way I had to learn moves is actually watch YouTube videos, which when we were all on YouTube, and I literally had to do the play, pause, clicking nonsense to actually watch, the step-by-step moves that people were making to actually learn moves. We don't need to do that anymore. We have tutorials everywhere. Again, if you get on the Discord chat from Worldwide Gloving Group, you will definitely find a crap load of tutorials and different concepts right there. It's very concise. And of course, there are many other things that you have out there that people use. If you haven't heard, and we'd be surprised if you haven't even heard it from me, because I mention it as much as I can when these type of topics come up. YouGotMoves.com. It is the Gloving's e-learning academy. Yes, there are service fees that you do have to pay. However, I will certainly tell you from my own experience outside of the gloving world that if somebody is giving you a 1-hour consultation to help you learn or work on your craft in terms of gloving, just like how my mom explains consultations with lawyers and anyone in the legal field, that 1 hour can give you all the information you need on your case to get you where you need to go about your case. Same thing when it comes to gloving and YouGotMoves.com. That 1 hour session that you get with a very well-known glover who has been in this craft for a very long time, you're going to learn so much. Like, I can't even describe the amount of information you're going to get within that one single hour of working with this individual. So, if you have the money to do so, I do recommend that the investment is worth it. If you really want to get good at this craft, the one-time session could be enough to get you where you need to just, roll it on out. It gives you that push to get you into it. You know what I mean? So definitely understand that. The other thing I will definitely recommend is going to meetups. Now, I know with the current state of everything that we can't necessarily do that, but however, we do have online meetups. We have the Discord chat, like I'm always going to refer to, because you can sit there and just have a lot of fun and talk to a lot of people and actually work in real time with them on stuff. So that's also going to be a way for you to help. Getting those lab chats are really, really good. So the next question that I always see is, what glove set should I start with? If I had a nickel of every time I actually seen this question pop up everywhere, I would be rich. Okay, so here's the thing. When it comes to choosing your first glove set, yes, I would recommend doing your own research. However, there are 2 major glove sets that I would actually recommend people to buy. It doesn't matter what company, in my opinion, you choose from. If you are somebody who's brand new and wants something that's is the most streamlined style of a glove set, I would recommend the Ions. The main reason is because I did a review on the ions, which if you haven't heard that, I definitely recommend you check out my episode on the ions. I go into an in-depth review about what the ions are able to offer, and I would certainly say that they are probably one of the bona fide best beginner glove sets ever. It offers you so many features, yet it doesn't overwhelm you with the amount of features. Plus, the randomizer and the chip-to-chip communication is actually just beautiful, So that's my first one. The second one that I would actually recommend is the other one that I reviewed as well. It's the Chroma Controls from Amazing Lights. Now, I will certainly say this. When it comes to choosing between the two of them, if you're brand new, I would push more towards the ions, just because it's more streamlined and makes it a little bit easier for you to just jump right into the craft and get right into it. If you're somebody who does with the ions, but then you're like, okay, I feel like I got my feet wet enough, I actually want to explore more and actually kind of push myself in terms of like programming and understanding, how I can actually manipulate the modes and the flash patterns and stuff like that, then you want to move over to the Chroma Controls. I personally love the Chroma Controls. I love the ions, but I also love the Chroma Controls because they just offer so many things, especially somebody like me who really likes moving things around and actually tinkering with the lights themselves. I would certainly say that I have the edition that does not have the chip-to-chip communication. If you want the Chroma Controls with the chip-to-chip communications, you want to get the Evos. I haven't really heard a whole lot of negative comments or complaints about the Evos on the Chromas, that's good. Spectras I've heard a lot about, and I would not recommend that for somebody who's just starting out, just because there's just so much that those chips can do that I don't want you to be overwhelmed by what they are able to do. So if you're a brand new person who wants a glove set recommendation, I would first recommend the Ions from Futuristic Lights or the Chroma Controls or Chroma Controls Evos, which one you want to choose from Amazing Lights. So the next question that I see a lot, and I see this time and time again, and I totally understand. It's one of those things that people always are going to be talking about due to the fact that that is a part of our craft, and that is what kind of stretching / maintenance should I be doing if I'm feeling this? I hear my wrist popping a lot when I'm doing whips and flails. My fingers are always cracking so much. My fingers hurt after so long. There's so many things that people said. So first thing I want to recommend is that there is this lovely little website that is started by Greg Irwin. If you don't know who Greg Irwin is, definitely look him up. He is pretty much the guy who inadvertently, as I'm going to put it, kind of helped the gloving format become what it is. He did a thing on a Johnny Carson show way back in like the 80s, if I remember correctly, which was, hand ballet. And it's basically what you kind of see in a rudimentary way of what gloving is today. Not super tech advanced like we have been, but it's a very interesting thing. I definitely recommend you to watch it if you haven't seen it. But he does have a website called handhealth.com. And the main reason why he started this is because he realized that, just like any other tool and every other muscle on our body, you have to work on it to make it better. I do highly recommend you guys that you check out his stuff. He does way huge in-depth health stuff about your hands and how to take care of them to help with like arthritis and things of that nature, prevent tendonitis from actually happening as well, all these things. So definitely check him out. He also does sell, things to help you, little hand exercise things, and he does have little hand exercise drills. Definitely recommend checking those out and helping you get into the craft that way as well. There is also another Facebook group that we have out there called the Stretching Lounge. Now, the Stretching Lounge, it kind of goes beyond just what gloving is, but there's a lot of glovers in there just because of the hands. But they do also help you with like stretching your back, stretching your neck, stretching your legs, things of that nature in this Facebook group. But you will get a lot of information of actually how to help with your hands and how to stretch the muscles properly, and also how to take care of them. This is something I also recommend as well, and I just refer to it as called hot cold baths. If you know MMA fighters, strongman competitors, those kind of athletes, I think Olympic athletes do this as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they do. But the basic idea is that you sit in a hot bath for an X amount of time, and then you go into the cold bath, which I've been told you do a 1-to-2 ratio, so if you do 1 minute in a hot bath, you do 2 minutes in a cold bath. And I mean ice cold. So what this does is that it helps relax your muscles, and it also helps with recovery. And recovery is massively important when it comes to your hands, because if you don't help with the recovery of your hands, you're not going to have a great time. You're going to start having issues, especially with like muscle tearing and deterioration, and of course with things like arthritis. Okay, so those are the four. The last question that I need to cover, and I know a lot of you guys are probably gonna make fun of me because this has become so synonymous with the gloving world that it's pretty much a meme, and I laugh. And we have meme lords out there that take advantage of this, and I love it because it's just funny. But discount codes is probably the number one question asked in the gloving world, and the main reason is because people want to save money. I definitely would recommend, when it comes to choosing your glove sets, if you are trying to save money, definitely check out my Gloving on a Budget episode. Main reason is because I don't only just cover futuristic lights or amazing lights. I cover LED gloves, Visual Kingdom, all those places. As much as that we had at the time. I did go in depth of the prices and how you can save money and what these chips are able to offer. Definitely would recommend doing a little bit more research. Now, I will certainly say when it comes to that episode, those prices might have changed. A lot of the times that they're going to be a little bit cheaper because they always have some kind of sales, and discount codes do help with that as well. But yes, the discount code is pretty much a meme within our community now, and it's fine because we are, at the end of the day, you're not only helping yourself save some money, but you're also contributing to giving somebody else some recognition and money as well. Now I understand like the whole commissions things is not super great when it comes to discount codes and stuff, but it is something that you're showing support to a very well-known glover that you want to show support to. It's just like, it's the same idea as like liking a video on YouTube or subscribing or things, or leaving a comment. Those do generate things for the content creators that allows them to get more exposure, so people can actually see more of their stuff. And I will certainly tell you, even somebody like me as a content creator, it has been really difficult to really push myself out there to get a little bit more exposure. However, we're working on that. It's totally fine. We're going to work on that. I know as soon as we get through this whole current state of everything, that we will definitely have that opportunity to push this even further. But that's pretty much everything for my episode. I do hope that you guys actually enjoyed what I had to say about these very common questions that come up a lot. I know this isn't going to be the only installment of these kind of questions. I know as I go along and find more of these common questions that get asked a lot, I will bring them up in another installment and cover those as well. But if you have any questions that were not covered in this episode, you can definitely let me know at the various outlets that I have. I do have a Facebook page, which is aptly named The Gloving Paradigm. You can always hit me up there. I am always available. I try to be as available as much as possible for any of my listeners, of course. And one other place I definitely want to recommend is Reddit. Reddit is probably one of the really good communities that you can get into. I know there's certain subreddits that are not super great, but that's beside the point. But the gloving subreddit is actually a really great place to learn a lot of stuff. I'm also under the username Mutton Chop Guy, so if you want to hit me up there, you can hit me up there. And of course, I definitely want to let you know that my email is muttonchopguy@gmail.com. You can definitely hit me up there if you want to keep it a little bit more private. And of course, I do have my own Discord server, which will be linked in this episode's description down below. Do not hesitate to go click on there. It's absolutely for free, and you can always talk to me directly there. I try to use it as much as I possibly can. But that is pretty much all those outlets that you can hit me up at. Do not hesitate to do so. I definitely also want to give a huge shout out to Ryan Ferris and Seaway McClellan. Somebody posted about content creation on, I think it was the Glover's Lounge, and you guys mentioned my podcast when somebody says somebody should start a podcast. I was about ready to actually post on it until YouTube mentioned my podcast. I am so glad you guys did it. Thank you so much for mentioning me. It is extremely humbling to see that my listeners are mentioning me to other people to get people to listen. I know things can get a little crazy, but I just want to express my thanks to the people who do recommend me to new people or to anyone who hasn't heard about my podcast. It's truly humbling to see people actually show that, I'm out there doing this kind of work and really trying to get this going and really trying to help out a lot of people. It's one of those things that I just like doing. I love talking about gloving all the time. It's why it's why my episodes go for like almost 30 minutes, is because I can ramble on about this stuff. So once again, thank you guys so much for mentioning me. I also want to just extend my thanks to all my listeners. You guys are absolutely amazing. I'm so glad that you guys are listening. You guys are talking about me to other people and having discussions on your own. I'm hoping that the things that I do talk about sparks conversations with other glovers and actually have this moment where you guys actually can learn from each other. It's one of the things that I really enjoy when I go on to the Discord chats in the Worldwide Gloving group. Main reason is because it gives me an opportunity to sit there and actually talk to a lot of my listeners. A lot of people really enjoy that. So I will also want to kind of end things on this note that the time that I post this episode, which will be on this coming Monday, today is Saturday as time of recording, Monday will be my birthday. So if you just want to drop me a little line to tell me happy birthday, that'd be most awesome, because it's gonna be kind of crappy that I have to stay home on my birthday, and I know a lot of people are gonna enjoy my birthday as it is, because my birthday is very synonymous to a lot of people, considering the date is 420. It is what it is. So just want to let you guys know that when I post this episode, it will be my birthday. So if you want to just drop me a line and tell me happy birthday, that would be most appreciated. But that is pretty much all for my episode. Once again, I want to thank you guys for listening. You guys are absolutely amazing. This show will not be possible without your guys' continued moral support. But I am your host, Peter, aka LPD8 Dubuque, and I'll see you guys all next week.